So Erdogan has come up, of course, we see this as a good idea. That it's not just US that should, I would say, benefit from this. It's not just other countries that should be the one heading this, that India should also be a part of it. But there's something that he said permanently. That means that the world is big enough for this to be rotated. It cannot just be a particular nation heading these particular organizations. But now he's saying he will be excited, they will be excited, the Turkish will be excited if the Indians are permanently have a membership of this UN for security and all of those. What do you think about Erdogan's quotes on this?
Erdogan is in place. What is different from what should be. What is right now is the five superpowers that evolved after the Second World War, being US, China, Russia, UK, and France, are the ones that are the permanent members of the United Nations Security Council. So it's in place for Erdogan to say, like, India should come up to join that, because there are some new superpowers that's also come up since then. You know, talking of the BRICS, you know, adding Brazil, South Africa, India. These are people that are, at least they've come up economically and otherwise to distinguish themselves as being leaders in the world stage, and they have a role to play. Erdogan is in place, but you know what he says is not what might actually come to be, because that's like the prerogative of power for those 5 nations.
Okay, so will you say that the Indians have the privilege, but they do not want to, because there is one thing when it comes to bilateral relations in the United States, this relationship is always shaky. So will you say that they have this privilege, but they don't want to come into it, or they have not even given them this green light? For Erdogan to say, do you think there is a green light that this can actually happen?
There's a lot has to take place before any other member can be admitted into that permanent council. Permanently, into the Security Council, permanently.
And what are their lots?
First of all, you have to have a sit down with the present 5 that are there. And the present 5 will bring out their demands for you to be, just like before Ukraine could join NATO, NATO has to give them their own demands. So before anybody becomes a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, they have to sit down with the present permanent members, and they will give them the wherewithal that they need and requirements for them to be included into that place. It's not just for wish or want. It's strategic, it's security, it's planning, it's tact, it's diplomacy. There's a lot is involved there. It's not just by mere words. Words will not do it alone. So they need to still go down and still ask what is required for us to step up. So it can't be given, it must be taken, or it must be negotiated into.
Okay, let's assume if this privilege has been given to India, is given to India, do you think there's every tendency they could reject this offer based on if the policy doesn't meet their demand? Do you think they can reject it?
I think if it would be so unwise of India to reject it, because if India rejects it, Pakistan will want to dive onto it. Nigeria will want it. South Africa wants it. Brazil wants it. There are a lot of countries that would dream to be in the permanent seat of the United Nations Security Council. So I don't think India will reject it, but what will play on is that India will not seem too eager to want to be there. So that it has not to look as if they are too desperate.
Okay, let's look at, do you think if other countries come into have this permanent membership of UN, do you think there's every tendency that a lot will happen in the world that has not taken place now? Or do you think it will have a way of dragging the present economy back?
There's already a system that is working for the United Nations Security Council permanent members right now. And they won't want it to be upset. They won't want it to be upturned. So any new member coming into that Security Council has to tow along with what is already on the ground. They are not going to bring any new agenda, but to facilitate the ones that are there now taking place. You know, so there's going to be negotiations upon negotiations for any new member to come in. It's not going to be by anybody's whims or caprices. It has to be strategic. It has to be diplomatic.
You are saying even if the new members come in, they have to toe in their lines. They have to already, a lot of things have been put in place. And of course, we have this word that said that two heads are better than one. You know, it might be that there is a new, I would say, policy that if they bring into the system, it might escalate, it might help in building security, economic, and all of those. So do you think, you mean even if all of these come to stay with new members, which we do not even know when and where, I mean, we don't know how far, we don't know the duration if it will happen any time to them accepting the new members. So do you think if all of this come in place, they will not accept it?
They will accept it, but it's not going to be a walk in the park. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It's strategic. You're talking about the balance of the world system. You're talking about balance of power. You're talking about what do you bring to the table. Okay, if you want to be in the same table with United States, United Kingdom, France, China, and Russia, what are you bringing to the table? Are your people well fed? What's your defense strategy? Is your geopolitical region in safe hands? Are you a belligerent? Are you troublesome? All this comes to play before you are allowed into that caucus. It's a caucus of well close-knit relationship. They hold the balance of the world power. It's not just even having atomic weapons. If not, North Korea would have been there, but North Korea is seen to be unstable, even if they have atomic weapons. So it's not just having atomic weapons. You have to talk about, are your people doing well? Is your country on the path of development?
So before we go, let me know this. How is this done? Do they give them this notice that you are due to be in this, among the 5 countries that as in, do they give them notice that you are due to be among us, or do you apply for it? Because you are saying that if it is easy like that North Korea would have been among them. So do they actually give them notice that, okay, we have seen everything, you are due to be our member, a part of this, or do you apply? How is it done?
There has not been any move by the 5 permanent members to try to even inculcate or indoctrinate anybody, any other country into that caucus. So they are not even looking for a new member. What Erdogan was saying is that they will be pleased if India is there. But they don't send invitations. They don't expect you to ask them to join. They don't want a new member.